here. And then we'll start as soon as possible. Let me just get some tats here. Yeah. Be right back. Oh, oh wow, you can barely see that. Look at that. Um, let's say I should change the color to red. You can see it a little bit better, but still pretty bad. Okay, this is gonna lose me some viewers, but I'm gonna be right back. 1 second. Sorry, I had to start the stream with some coffee. Please tell me if the audio is bad, okay? I need to know. I need to know going in. Don't tell me 2 hours into the live stream like last time where David said the audio was bad and then I realized the whole stream sounded terrible. I'd rather that not happen again. I really would. Actually, I'll just listen to it right now and post this on my Instagram real quick. This is a late stream. Should have started it a little bit earlier, but I just got home, so I'm sorry about that. And this is the right channel, right? Yeah, it is. Hey, Luke, Luke. Oh, hey, Luke. What's the word? Nothing much, man. Just live streaming per se. Okay, add this. And yeah, we're just gonna be okay, I know it's late, but we're gonna be doing the monthly video where I talk about everything I watched this month. And this time it's gonna be October, which means a lot of horror movies, also a lot of Marvel movies. I'll explain that in a couple minutes. And yeah, 1 second. Yeah, live now. I'll put that up there. I also need to do it on my other Instagram. And then I guess post it on my community post. Good month for movies. I saw a lot of good ones. I also saw a lot of bad ones. I'm also gonna have a lot of hot takes here. Um, I don't think a lot of people are gonna like my opinion on Midsummer. Um, but I mean that's just life. That's just being a movie critic. Um, yeah, post this here. I had pretty good dinner. Had what do you call it? Some pasta. My mom makes the best pasta, I swear to God. Um, okay, post that there. And because I have 50 other socials now, I might as well post this on my community tab as well. And then I shall be done and we should be ready to go. Seriously, any issues with the audio, with the camera, whatever, tell me now instead of 5 hours into the stream. Please, for the love of God. Live now. Okay. Like green screen keeps getting stuck on the 1 second. Shit. Okay. I was about to say my green screen gets stuck on the chair, the wheels on the chair, and then sometimes they'll like come down on my head, and I'm just making sure that doesn't happen again because it has happened. It has. Okay. Let's start. Hello, David. Thanks for calling me. David, is the audio bad? Tell me right now. Tell me right now if the audio is bad. I'll fix it right now. Okay. Let me put the camera in front this time. So now if I go here, oh yeah, no, it's just out of frame. Okay. Because I can see like the audio is very loud, but I also don't want to be too quiet because I want to like talk in a normal rate and not yell the whole live stream because I am going to be talking a lot. I saw a lot of movies this month. Okay, audio. Okay, that's good. Nothing noteworthy. That's kind of reassuring. Thank you. Okay, you see it right here, tier list as always, and it is out of order. Okay, one thing after another, one battle after another. If you get that, no, okay, my bad. Um, yeah, let's get straight into it. Um, got some coffee on my pants. Yeah, again, I'm a week late to this, but also I had a party for Halloween, so can't really do anything about that. But anyways, I started the month with Thor 2011, and the reason you see so many Marvel movies here is because I'm going to be doing a video on Marvel pretty soon. So I actually don't want to go too in depth on these movies because I'm going to be talking about them a lot in a future video. But for Thor, I was kind of disappointed in this one. I remember it being better than it actually is, but the CGI has generally not aged that great, which, I guess that's kind of comes with being a 2011 superhero movie. But the fact that Iron Man came out 3 years earlier than this, and this movie looks so much worse than Iron Man, you could just feel they kind of rushed this to get like before the Avengers, which is weird because this came out in 2010, so maybe not. Anyways, Chris Hemsworth as Thor is fine in this movie. I think he's a lot better in the later movies. And this one, his personality just comes off kind of bland. And he's pretty much overshadowed by a lot of the side characters. Like Natalie Portman is in this as Jane Foster. She's decent, and Tom Hiddleston as Loki actually pretty great in this movie. Like he gives a great performance. Great character too. You could just like see his motivation and why he's doing what he's doing as something just fell. His personality, just from like the first hour of the movie, it's a really good performance. He is a highlight. Action wise, not a lot to go around it, and Asgard as like a fictional place isn't that fleshed out. Like you think like one of the big worlds of Marvel that this movie spends 3 films at would be like really fleshed out, but honestly, like Asgard in this movie is just it's not that interesting. Like I don't like Ant-Man 3, but I gotta be honest, like the quantum realm of Ant-Man 3 is more fleshed out than Asgard, and it doesn't help that the CGI on Asgard kind of looks like PS2 PlayStation animation. There's a lot of side characters in this movie I forgot about. Thor has like a group of side characters or friends in the movie, and I don't know what they add to the film. They're just like barely in the movie. There's no point of them being there. They don't have any distinct personalities. They don't really bring a. They're not like that funny. They don't bring that much into the plot of the film. They're just kind of there to show that Thor has friends, I guess. But they don't really do anything in the sequels either. So yeah, it's just a weird inclusion. But yeah, it's worse than I remember. I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, but I wouldn't say it's good either. Just like very middle of the road, 5 out of 10. We are gonna get worse. We are gonna get worse. So I'm gonna put this C tier, but just so you know, it's at the bottom of C tier and kind of nearing excuse me, D tier, pretty closely. After after Thor, we have let's see what again. It's out of order. Another Marvel movie, Marvel Well, this isn't a movie. This is a mini series. It's this one from the people who made What If. It's animated. It's about it's basically the MCU, but there's a zombie takeover, and all the characters from the MCU are in a zombie apocalypse, or at least like some of them. A lot of them die and become zombies, which is fine. It's like a 4 episode mini series, and it does get straight to the point. It literally could be a movie. It could be like a straight to Disney Plus movie. I don't know why it had to be a miniseries. I don't know. I'm conflicted on this. Again, it has like that same repetitive MCU humor, which has been like one of my main complaints with modern MCU. But especially after watching Guardians of the Galaxy, just like a couple days ago, and even the first Avengers and Captain America: The Winter Soldier, just watching like peak MCU movies, I realized just like how stale the humor of these movies, especially in What If. What If is not funny, it's just like so full of jokes, and especially in like a show like this, like a show about zombies and everyone dying, you expect it to take its plot a little bit more seriously, but no, it's just like joke after, not even jokes, it's just quip after quip after quip, and it gets very annoying. I just think it's annoying. I don't like that style of humor. Just not my thing. At the same time, though, it's very gory and gross, and I kind of like that. The first two episodes were a little bit lame, to be honest, but the third and especially the fourth was just full of this great action. I really like Blade as Moon Knight or Blade. Like it's the character is like a fuse between Moon Knight and Blade, which I thought was really cool. Blade has been in a lot of Marvel films, but hasn't gotten his own movie. That's weird. I still need to finish the first Blade movie. Actually, I started watching it, but I haven't finished it yet. I also started watching Boyhood on in October. I haven't finished it, but that's besides the point. Um, yeah, I mean, good cast of characters. I haven't seen Miss Marvel, but I think Kamala Khan was like a very good main character. She was very likable for like a series that's like this depressing. She's kind of like a. It's kind of refreshing to have such an optimistic character and such a depressing story. Um, but yeah, that's about it. It's fine. The last two episodes were better than the first two. I didn't like the first two that much, but the last two kind of make up for it. Humor ain't that great, and I do wish we followed some other characters too. But I will say this, like I haven't seen Shang-Chi in a movie since like well, his own movie, which is like 4 years. You think like setting up a new character and not having him be in any films until the next Avengers movie for like 5 years straight is not a good idea, but they seem to be going with that. And seeing all these Phase Four characters like interact with each other and show up again was kind of cool, and kind of makes me wish we did get like a Avengers movie in between Endgame and Doomsday, because I feel like part of what people like about Marvel is these characters interacting. And I feel like one of the problems Phase Four is that we just didn't get that much of it. And Phase Five kind of like fits as that and sits too. And I feel like the next Spider-Man is gonna fit that with Hulk being added. Um, but yeah, it's kind of cool to see these characters interact. And I kind of wish we got more projects in this era of Marvel that kind of did that. But whatever. Yeah, it's okay. I'll put a B tier. Maybe on rewatch I'll enjoy it more, but I don't know. It wasn't as good as I was hoping, but also not as bad as it could have been. Um, then I saw Good Time, which is from the directors of Uncut Gems, the Safdie brothers, who actually, well, one of them came out with a new movie, The Smashing Machine, which I haven't catch up to yet, and the other is coming out with another movie, Marty Supreme, which is where like made separate movies and they're coming out at the same time. That's kind of cool. Anyways, yeah, same directors of Uncut Gems, the Safdie brothers, and this is kind of like their like big breakout movie. I think this is the one that got them popular. It's also the movie that made a lot of people realize that Robert Pattinson can act. Like a lot of people saw him as a Twilight guy until this movie. I could definitely see why. Robert Pattinson is very good in this movie. I don't think he gets as much time to shine, performance wise as I expected, but that's fine because it's very laser focused script. It's just about this guy trying to get his brother out of jail, and kind of hard to explain the plot. It's kind of like a rabbit hole of circumstances in the same vein of a Coen Brothers film, which is really cool, but with this sad fee directing and style and tone. Um, I will say the main character was kind of a jerk and kind of weird. Not to get too specific, but there's one scene where he starts making out with an underage minor, and that kind of took me out of the film. I mean, I'm fine with like main characters being like morally ambiguous, like like Tony Soprano. I'm watching The Sopranos, by the way. That show's fantastic. Um, or like Walter White, or just like any Martin Scorsese movie, right? Well, it's just kind of weird when your main character is a pedophile and there's like no build up to that, just kind of comes out of nowhere, and it doesn't really come back into the plot at all. And I don't know, I just didn't know if we were supposed to be rooting for him after the fact, which I guess we weren't. But then who am I supposed to be rooting for then? I mean, it's basically like a thriller, and the main appeal of thrillers is that you want the main character to survive, and you don't want bad things to happen to the main character. But it's a thriller where the main character is kind of a douche, and you don't really want him to survive or even like care about him because of one bad thing he did. Kind of weird movie. It's one of those movies where like one scene kind of like tore apart my enjoyment of it, but still very good. Good directing, very tense, especially that first half. The bank robbery scene was very good. I do think the ending was a little bit anticlimactic, but I may enjoy it more on rewatch. And yeah, I like the Safdie brothers style, so I enjoyed this one. Again, tell me if the audio is bad because I'm seeing it like the bar is red, and I think that's a bad sign. So just tell me if the audio is very. Yeah, I'll turn it down anyways. I'll turn it down. How's this? How's this? Is this good? Okay. Just tell me. Just tell me. Please drop a comment. I would appreciate that. Where is it? Good times, good time, good time. Here we go. Oh, I just realized these are all bots. I should have changed it. Oh, whatever. No, I wouldn't put it A tier. I put it top of B tier. Yeah. And just so you know, okay, A tier is gonna be 9 out of 10s. S tiers are gonna be 10 out of 10s. I'll be very, very specific about that. B tier is gonna be 8s and 7s out of 10s. C tier is 6 or 5s out of 10s, and D tier is 4 to 0 out of 10s. And there is one movie that would actually give like a 0 out of 10 that I thought was just so unfunny and so obnoxious that I put it right there. Anyways, um, then I watched Phantom Thread. After Paul Thomas Anderson came out with One Battle After Another, I thought I'd check out his other films. Excuse me. I saw There Will Be Blood. I thought it was great. I thought it was great. I wouldn't say it's a masterpiece, but I'd say it's great. Um, but yeah, I watched Phantom Thread, which is supposedly one of his best movies. I got into it a lot more than I expected to, and probably as much as I could have for a film about making dresses. And okay, yeah, I know it's not about making dresses. I know it's about like the relationship, and it's a romance film, and there's like deeper things. At the end of the day, the concept is that this is a guy who makes dresses for a living, and that's what the whole movie's about. That's never good. That was never my thing. It's never my thing. Dresses at all. I haven't seen Little Women. I haven't seen a Greta Gerwig film. I haven't seen any film about women with dresses. I saw Emma when I was 9 years old. I do not know why I saw that, but yeah, just not my type of film. But as far as films like that goes, this captivated me a lot more than I expected to. This really grabbed my attention. First of all, Paul Thomas Anderson, of course, is a great director and is able to make just the concept of making dresses, like just that concept, really interesting. Like just the way he directs it, and there's a lot of close-ups and the sound design of the silk and stuff. Like it's very satisfying the way he directs it. And of course, Daniel Day-Lewis is giving a fantastic performance. I've only seen like a few movies with Daniel Day-Lewis. Between this and One Battle After Another, completely different characters. Like otherworldly characters. Like you would not guess that these were like from the same actor. Even if it's just like this guy next to Lincoln, the fact that both played by the same actor, that's just like that blows my mind. Daniel Day Lewis is actually amazing. Too bad his last movie kind of bombed and isn't getting good reviews, but whatever. Yeah, Phantom Thread. I did like the relationship they were going with here, where it was kind of like both sides are very manipulative, and like they're both very unlikable people, but at the same time, definitely deserve each other. It was very interesting the way this relationship worked in the movie. And yeah, the woman who played the main actress, who was like the I forgot her name. She was also very good. Like to be able to act next to Daniel Day Lewis and pull your own weight. I'm surprised I haven't heard her name before. Excuse me. Um, but yeah, yeah. I like this as much as I could like a film about a guy making dresses, and that's an accomplishment right there. That's actually pretty impressive. So I'm gonna put this B tier. Where the hell is it? This one. Okay. I will say this is a pretty bad poster. I do not like this poster, but whatever. This I'll put below Good Times because Good Times has like more moments that I remember, or like great moments that have been wow, that voice crack that have been stuck in my head. Um let's see what's next. What did I watch after this one? I want to do this in like order of what I've watched it because that's the only thing that way this makes sense. Oh wow, okay, my phone just turned off. That's what I get for owning Android. Um, I'm just kidding. Androids are way better than Apple, and you could fight me on that. Horrible bosses. Okay, that's which one's that? That's this one. Yes, this is a comedy starring Kevin Spacey and Charlie Day in one of his like only movies I've heard of. Charlie Day hasn't had a good career outside of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which sucks. He's a funny actor, but yeah, Charlie Day, Jason Bateman I think is in this, and oh, Colin Farrell's in this. It's a stacked cast of actors I can't remember the name of, but yeah, it's basically about these three guys who have terrible bosses, so they hire a hitman to kill their own bosses, or they try to kill their own bosses. It's very comedic. It's kind of like the Hangover type of comedy, like very douchey but also very funny. I would say it's that funny though. I'd say there's like a few jokes that made me laugh, but overall, as far as comedies go, it was a little. I will say it's more annoying than it is funny most of the time. But it's a cool concept. All those scenes with Jamie Foxx was actually pretty funny. Jamie Foxx is he's a funny actor and he's pretty good in this. He was actually the highlight of the movie with like the little amount of screen time he got. He was able to get a laugh out of me every time he showed up. And yeah, I mean, it's a cool premise, and it stayed entertaining. Like the plot went by very fast. I think it's like a 90-minute movie, so I mean, I enjoyed it. It's something to put in the background while you do homework, which is exactly what I did. So, horrible bosses, I'll put above Thor. Um, yeah, above Thor. Okay, what I watch after that? Machete. Damn. Last time I ever drank coffee. Jesus Christ. I'm just kidding. I'm never gonna stop drinking coffee. I'm addicted now. Where? What did I say? Oh, machete. That's not this one. It is. Where's machete? Did I forget to add machete? Oh, I guess I forgot to add the post. Oh no, it's right there. I'm blind. Okay. There, now I should be able to see. Just took out my real glasses and kept the sunglasses. Yeah, Machete is a Robert Rodriguez film based off a mock trailer. Basically like a fake trailer of for Grindhouse. If you ever heard of Grindhouse, is this 3 hour movie or 3 hour double feature with Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez. I think throughout the movie they'll show like fake mock trailers for like other films, which includes Machete, that Thanksgiving slasher movie that came out a couple years ago with Eli Roth that they're making a sequel to. That was a Grindhouse trailer before it was turned into a movie, and this is kind of the same thing. And unlike Thanksgiving, this one actually takes itself a little bit less seriously. Especially, I really love the opening. I think the opening is the best part about this movie. And all honesty, I think the opening is the only part of this movie worth watching. Like, it's just like so funny, just like rapid fire joke after joke after joke where the ridiculousness really it's really funny and the rest of the movie's just okay. It's entertaining, just like it's so not so bad it's good because it's intentionally bad, more so like so dumb it's like really funny. And yeah, I mean there's a scene where Danny Trejo takes the liver or I think the lungs out of a person or the like body some inside part of someone's body, rips it out and then uses it like a rope to climb out of a building. That's a real scene that happened. That's the scene in the movie, and that's really funny. I do think it gets a little bit like too too like what was the word? Too like intentionally ridiculous at the end. Like not like naturally ridiculous like the rest of the film, but at the end it just felt like a Liam Neeson parody, which is cool. I like Liam Neeson movies or comedies. I like Naked Gun. I feel like this movie works better when it's just like deadpan, just but ridiculous at the same time. Where it's not like trying to make jokes. It's just trying to be ridiculous as possible, and through that, it's really funny. And at the end, it just got a little bit too jokey. Um, and Robert De Niro's in this movie for some reason. Yeah, probably one of his weirdest movies. The fact that the same guy who's in Goodfellas is in Machete is pretty funny. Why does it keep doing that, huh? Stop. My microphone is yeah. Anyways, where was I gonna put this? Oh yeah, I'm gonna put this. But I enjoyed this more than Thor, even though Thor is objectively a better movie, and I enjoyed this more than Horrible Bosses. Probably, I enjoyed it. Yeah, yeah, top of C tier, I think. Yeah. Then after that, oh, I watched Grave of Fireflies. I followed up Machete with Grave of Fireflies. Rub that in your head for a minute. One of the most depressing and well-regarded animated films about World War II, about the victims of Hiroshima and not Hiroshima, just World War II in general, and the Japan being bombed and all the Japanese that died. I watched a movie as sincere and heartfelt and tragic as that right after watching a film where a guy rips the abdomen out of someone's body and uses it as a rope to climb down a building. And I'm fine with that because I also watched Bambi 2 before watching The Godfather, so this is just pretty normal for me apparently, unfortunately. Um yeah, yeah, I like this one. I'm okay. I didn't enjoy it, because it's like such a depressing movie. But like great animation, great design, obviously like just the craftsmanship. You could tell like the people who made this really cared about the story that they were telling, which is always cool to see when watching an animated movie. It's a very heartfelt film about like a true, not a true story, but like true events that really like tugs on your heartstrings. Obviously, the ending is very sad. Excuse me. Yeah, it's just like a very tragic film, and such a. If you ever want to like, go back into that time, I don't know why you would, but if you ever want to go back into that time of World War II and the Japanese, where like towns were being bombed and cities were being bombed, watch this film. It's really good at putting you in that time space, and really depressing at it too. So yeah, just a greatly made film all around. Where is it? Right there. Okay. I don't know why looking for the posters here is like looking for Where's Waldo. I only have like 10 not 10, like 20 movies here. It shouldn't be that hard, but I don't know. Um After that I watched Chiefs, which I don't know. I don't know what this movie is. It's supposed to be a documentary, but it's also just seems very fake. Like there's a lot of scenes that seem very obviously staged or very obviously influenced to the point where I thought it was a mockumentary, and like the plot of it, it kind of moves like a mockumentary, but no, no, it's just. I guess it may be a natural documentary about real people, and if that's true, that's very sad because this is a very sad film about, well, very satisfying as in it's about a basketball team finally winning the leagues, but also a very sad film because it's also about the people who played for the basketball team at their high school last year dealing with the fact that they didn't do well, or dealing with their failures, and trying to grab back into that time, kind of like Super Seniors. Kind of explores that. Yeah, it kind of makes for a depressing film, but it's also it's an okay film. I don't like how it keeps cutting to these DVD to the stock footage of like landscapes with Native American music. Just like a weird editing choice. The editing is very 2000s and outdated. But overall, very entertaining, and it is an interesting story to tell. Very unique story to tell. And the basketball scenes were actually pretty well shot for a documentary. So I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna put this above Machete. Yeah, 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 yeah. Okay. Then I watched Tron. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I accidentally added Tron because I watched Tron like 2 months. No, I watched Tron like 5 months ago. I watched Tron like in a while ago. I just forgot to log it onto Letterboxd. I forgot. And that speaks volumes for how forgettable this movie is. Very ahead of its time visually, but also very forgettable overall. So ignore this. Ignore this. I did not watch Tron this month. I didn't even watch Tron last month or the month before that. I just forgot to log it until this month, so it's on my Letterboxd. I accidentally added it. I wish I was talking about Tron though, because instead I'm talking about this terrible comedy movie, The Do Over. And I don't know. I just looked up Adam Sandler on Netflix and decided to watch Adam Sandler movies on my computer while I did homework, kind of like double tasking. And his comedies, some of his comedies, especially the ones in partnership with Netflix, are honestly terrible. They're like really bad. They're unfunny, kind of like the worst aspects of a Happy Madison, where it doesn't have the heart of Happy Madison, but has all the dumb jokes, especially this one where it's about this guy who like really hates his life, so he starts a new one with a new identity with this other guy, and the characters just seem so poorly realized, like except for the main character played by David Spacey, who does an okay job. Like everyone else in this movie are just like very poorly realized characters, especially Adam Sandler's character. I never understood his character in the movie. What's supposed to be his personality? What drives him? And it's like it's not like the worst comedy I've seen, but it's also just full of very unfunny jokes that made me cringe. And at the end, they show this scene of like this old woman expose her breasts, and they're like very wrinkly and gross to look at, just like big prosthetic breasts at the end of the movie. It is not funny. It's not even close to being funny. It was not necessary. There was no setup to that joke. It was just there. That scene was just there. And now that image is ingrained in my memory. This was at the last 5 minutes of the movie. I was ready to turn this shit off. I was ready to just go around about my day, watch a good movie. But no, they had to show that. They had to show a old woman with her breasts exposed, big prosthetic, very wrinkly. It was gross. It was like gross, and yeah, that kind of like changed this movie's rating from a 4 to a 3 out of 10, and maybe that's being too nice. Maybe that's being too nice for this movie. So yeah, yeah, D tier easily, and unfortunately, it's not the worst movie I saw this month. Then I watched Anger Management, which is another Adam Sandler comedy. This time with Jack Nicholson. Actually, Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler did a movie together, and this was like Jack Nicholson, as his anger management therapist, who's kind of like looking over Adam Sandler's character, is kind of manipulative and not a good guy at all, and you kind of see like him like ruining Adam Sandler's life in real time. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, it isn't a good film. I wouldn't say it's like one of Adam Sandler's best movies. It's definitely far, far from Jack Nicholson's best movie. And to be honest, I thought Jack Nicholson was funnier in The Departed than he was in this movie. I thought Jack Nicholson was a much funnier character in Departed than whatever he's playing in this film. Um, and yeah, I mean, overall the plot's okay. I do think the ending's a little bit underwhelming. It's definitely not a film that'll stick with you, but it exists. I'll put this above Angry Bosses, but below Machete. Wow. Okay. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that beautiful tier list right there. This was not a good month. This was so far. It's not a good month for movies. Then I watched Chris Rock Selective Outrage because after watching two really bad Adam Sandler movies, I just had the need to really want to laugh. I just wanted to laugh. I want to laugh at anything, and unfortunately, I chose Chris Rock to do that because I've never seen a Chris Rock special, and to be honest, I don't see it. I don't see what people see in Chris Rock. I think he's very unfunny. I think Chris Rock is very unfunny. Well, here's the thing, like, just the delivery of his jokes, I think, are the problem. Well, first of all, the jokes aren't even that good to begin with. I don't find the jokes that clever or funny. It's kind of just like the same stuff you hear every day, and yeah, definitely not like the best, the best type of material I've seen a comedian give, especially from Chris Rock, who's supposed to be one of the biggest comedians of all time. This just seems like very grade A material, like nothing that interesting or unique. Just kind of like going through the motions type of stand up routine. Um, and again, his delivery is just really bad, where he's just like yelling every sentence. and I just didn't find the timing of his delivery that funny. And the worst part about it, the most repetitive part, literally repetitive, is that he'll repeat every single sentence he gives, even the punchline. The punchline, or just the sentence leading up to the punchline, which kind of ruins the punchline. He'll repeat. He'll repeat. He'll repeat. See how annoying that is? See how annoying that is? See how annoying that is? Where I just like repeat every sentence. That's him. That's him. He'll say a sentence and then say a different tone of voice. He'll say a sentence and then he'll say a different tone of voice. That's it. That's like every single joke. And he waits until the last 10 minutes to talk about the time he got slapped with no, I was about to say Chris Rock by Will Smith, um, which I don't care, and but and I don't think most people cared anymore because this was like 8 months, 10 months, like almost a year, maybe. I think it may have been over a year since that happened, and he started talking about it. He waited until that long to talk about it, and he just chose he just chose the most lowbrow jokes for it. Like, oh, it still hurts. It still hurts when you slap me. Like, dude, you're the one who got slapped. You should be coming up with the best jokes about this. I've heard every other comedian joke about Chris Rock being slapped better than Chris Rock himself. Even like Jimmy Kimmel did it better. Jimmy Kimmel had funnier things to say. I get it because it's been like a year of people joking about that moment to the point where it's finally your turn and you probably can't think of any like funny original jokes about it. But maybe that's a sign to not talk about it and just move on, you know? Like I mean I'm not like defending Will Smith or anything, but like seriously, it's been a year. Okay, you could have talked about this like while it's so relevant and it would actually be funny. A year, especially rewatching the special like 3 years after, like four, maybe it's no, it's around 3 years after that happened. I just finished watching it and yeah, it just wasn't funny, and the rest of the special wasn't funny, and none of it was really funny. Um, I saw Spike Lee in the audience, like a cut to Spike Lee, and I think Kamala Harris was in the audience, and they were laughing. And that just Kamala Harris. That seems exactly like the stand up Kamala Harris would listen to, just like the most lowbrow stuff possible. Just lowbrow jokes, nothing that funny. Yeah, I don't see Chris Rock's appeal. I think Chris Rock is very unfunny, and Kevin Hart too. And that's actually not the only Chris Rock thing I've seen this year, funnily enough. So yeah, Chris Rock, I'll put D tier above the do over. It's not as bad as a do over, okay? At least at least now the jokes made me cringe. Yeah. So after that, I saw Midsummer, and I don't know how much I want to talk about Midsummer because, to be honest, I was in a really bad mood when I watched Midsummer. I wasn't having a good day that day, and that may have affected my enjoyment of it. Because, to be honest, I was kind of pissed at this movie. I don't know why. I think I just found it kind of pretentious, and just I mean I just didn't really connect to what I was saying. The camera moves so slow in the movie, like just I get it's Ari Aster's style, but like just slowly moving the camera on the floor and around the wall, like dude, okay, I get it. Just move the camera a little bit faster, okay? I guess your style, but and it works in Hereditary and Eddington, and I really like Midsummer. No, sorry, I really like Hereditary and Eddington. Those films I really enjoy, and for some reason I just didn't like this, even though I dislike Midsummer. I dislike Midsummer for the same reasons I really like Hereditary and Eddington, which is very weird to say. Whereas like the directing, Ari Aster I think is a very good director, but I just don't think it worked for Midsummer. I think for Midsummer it came off more pretentious than anything. And I hate using that word as a film critic, pretentious, but that's just how it felt to me. That's just how it felt to me, so I'm gonna say it anyways. Um, yeah, I didn't like this at all, honestly. But to be fair, I only watched the first hour of the movie, like the first hour. I was having a bad day when I watched it, so I'm gonna give this film another chance at some point. But yeah, as of right now, I'm gonna put in D tier, but that is subject to change. I liked it more than Chris Rock. I liked it more than the Chris Rock special. Let's get that clear. Good water. Who the hell says that? Good water. Okay. After Midsummer, I watched Good Boy, which is a film. Well, actually, it's kind. What is it? It's a ghost story or a movie about a haunted house and a ghost told through the perspective of the dog. It wasn't until like the last 30 minutes I figured out what the film was really about. It has like this deeper meaning of like a dog seeing its owner succumb to his illness. Like the owner has, I think, it's cancer. Yeah, the owner has cancer or like just some life threatening disease is slowly like tearing him apart. And to the dog's perspective, that's like a ghost or a ghost that's possessing him or a ghost that's attacking their family. And as it's shot, it's actually really cool. Like I think the the POV of the dog like is kind of like told through his perspective in a weird way. Not literally through his perspective, like presence or in a violent nature. More so like in a violent nature actually. Just like camera is on the ground, kind of like tilting upwards, like stuff like that. It's surprisingly a very well shot film for a film about a dog seeing his owner die from a disease, and see a bunch of ghosts. And it's pretty scary too. There were some scenes that scared me a little bit, and obviously you don't want a dog to get hurt, so it kind of plays into that aspect a little bit. Um, I would be lying if I said I wasn't like turning in my seat a little bit at the end, like twisting on my seat. That's not the phrase. Just kind of you get what I mean. I'd be lying if I said I was finding it a little bit hard to like stay invested like in the middle portion. I do think it picks up at the end and yeah, as it is, I also like that this movie is like 70 minutes. I think it's 71 minutes. I wish more movies were like this. I wish there were more like horror movies or just movies in general that have like a really simple concept and don't feel the need to have a 90-minute runtime. I feel like that should be normalized more. Obviously, I'm not saying like release like 60-second TikToks in a movie theater or something like that. No, just like over an hour but under an hour and 30 minutes. Just those type of films should be made a little bit more. Anyways, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, good boy. Pretty well made for such a simple concept, but at the end of the day, the concept is very simple, so I wouldn't say it's that great. I would put it below Marvel Zombies, I think. Hmm. I got these pumpkin spice latte pods for my coffee. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. You could taste the pumpkin spice. Like for most coffee pods, you can't taste the flavor that's advertised, but for the pumpkin spice coffee pods, you can actually kind of taste the pumpkin in it, which is interesting. Yeah, I'll give it that. Yeah, not a lot of coffee pods are like this effective with its flavor. Could be because of my new espresso machine. I actually got a new espresso machine, so like could be could kind of be that. Could kind of be that. Um, sorry, what the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, Drive. Okay. After that, I watched Drive, and I'm gonna be honest, I love this movie. It was really good, and I wasn't expecting it to be this good because I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. I mean, obviously, I saw the memes, of Ryan Gosling. It's a very meme movie, and there's like a lot of pictures of it. Like I've definitely seen this movie before, but I've never actually heard anybody like talk about it, like say how good it is. And yeah, well, I looked at the top 250 Letterbox movies, because I was interested in seeing what the most popular ones. Drive was on there. Realized I never saw Drive. I saw it had good reviews, so I watched it, and I loved it. I think it's almost near to being a perfect movie or just like a classic. Like this seems like a modern classic, like the type of movie that'll be studied in film schools in like 30 years. If it's not already right now. This is a very beautifully shot movie. This was actually shot before LA changed all their street lights from orange to white or orange from neon to the white lights. You get what I mean? And it looks the way LA is shot is very beautiful in this movie, has a fantastic soundtrack that I have added into my playlist. And don't worry, I'll show my playlist in a minute. I actually have some albums that I've added in. Um, and yeah, I mean Ryan Gosling gives a good performance. I really love how the oh and Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks was really good as a villain. Albert Brooks is a very underrated director in the comedy space, and it's cool to find out that he's also a very underrated actor. I wish he got more roles like that in his career. But anyways, um, I really love the show don't tell aspect of this. Like there's barely, I mean, there's dialogue, but there's barely any dialogue, especially from the main character. He only says a few lines in the movie, and most it's not like a gimmick. It's not a gimmick how little the main character kind of is, but it's not a gimmick how little the main character talks in this movie or how little dialogue is in the movie. It's just very natural the amount of dialogue where like it just kind of like shows what's happening, shows the emotions, shows the plot. There's no like exposition to explain it, which while in the middle of a MCU marathon where I watch all the Marvel movies is kind of cool to see. So yeah, I really enjoy this. Great driving scenes, very well lit, very well shot. Beautiful movie. I'm gonna put this S tier. I generally really enjoyed this film, and I was surprised. It caught me off guard. I was not expecting to love this film as much as I did. Excuse me. John Wick. Then I watched John Wick, and I watched this movie with my mom. I finally convinced my mom to watch John Wick with me. She didn't love it as much as I did, but rewatching it, yeah, this is still like a pretty great action movie. Um, Obviously some of the best choreographed action of all time. I do think the sequels do it better. But yeah, the first John Wick like kind of shows like the action before it evolves and becomes more crazy and how well choreographed it is. But also the story. I forgot how good the story is. Kind of like Drive a little bit, where it's kind of like show don't tell, although in a less natural and less subtle way. But it's still cool how little exposition they have in this, like they really build out the world here without over explaining it. Like you just know this is a world of assassins and it kind of naturally like tells us this world and shows us this world of assassins without like having too much exposition shoved down our throats. Really cool, and I'm like really happy the John Wick movies do that. Like no John Wick movie is full of exposition. It just kind of like shows it, and that just kind of makes the world very cool. And I think that's why I didn't watch The Continental. When The Continental came out, which was like a prequel of the hotel in the John Wick movies, I didn't want to see it because I feel like the less shown, the better. Like, just the implied lore behind The Continental and the implied lore and history of this world is more interesting than actually explaining the lore. And considering the reviews of The Continental, I think I'm right in that assessment. So, and yeah, obviously Keanu Reeves gives a good performance as John Wick, both doing like a lot of his own stunts and choreography, but also just his performance. You really do feel like this is a grieving guy, like grieving his wife. And yeah, there is an emotional core in this. Like, of course, this movie's famous for like his dog dying, and that's the reason he kills all these people. But really, it's not about the dog, and it kind of goes into the reason he cares about this dog so much. Is the last gift from his wife. It's like the last his last sign of normalcy, like of a different life where he could be away from the assassin business. And when his dog dies, he goes full assassin, mass murderer, and it's very satisfying, but also very sad. And the guy who plays the villain, the Russian villain, very good too. Vigo, I think. Definitely one of the most memorable villains of the franchise next to Bill Skarsgård in the fourth movie. So yeah, I'm gonna put this above Good Time. I think this will be remembered. The whole franchise, the John Wick franchise, will be remembered as like action classics in the same vein of I don't know, Internal Affairs or Rambo or something like that. People look back in the John Wick movies very well, and I just really like the way they shoot action in these movies. I wish more movies would do it like that. Some people may disagree with me there, but yeah, I really do enjoy these films, especially after seeing John Woo. Like a lot of people hype up John Woo as this great action director, and he is. I love John Woo. I really like The Killer, but I still prefer this style of action. Um, anyways, okay, enough yapping. Up to more yapping. The bucket list. A lot of Jack Nicholson movies this month, huh? Yeah, this is another Jack Nicholson movie, and well, it's one with him and Morgan Freeman. It's this one right here. I watched this in my theology class. My theology class is like kind of like a movie watching class, which is kind of cool. And yeah, yeah. I mean, I was absent the first day they show this, and present the second day, so I only watched the second half of the movie. But it seems like a very heartfelt and sincere movie about these two guys who have cancer and travel the world together and kind of reflect on their lives and learn about each other and learn about themselves. Just a cool concept with a great. I think did Rob Reiner direct this? Let me check. Let me check. It's it's not Rob Reiner. It is Rob Reiner. Okay, my memory served me correct. Oh, and also Morgan Freeman is pretty good in this. And just seeing Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman like banter off of each other and act together is just really cool. That's a cool thing. So yeah, it's a very sincere, it's very heartfelt, and I really enjoyed what I saw. And I wish I could rewatch this movie one day and watch the whole thing start to finish. So I'm gonna put this above. Oh wait, no, no, no. This would be in B. Yeah, because I gave it a 7 out of 10. I'll put this above Marvel Zombies, but below the Phantom Thread. Good. Okay. Was there a hair in my? I feel like I just drank a hair. I may have drank a hair. That's weird. There was a hair in my coffee. It's an espresso machine. There shouldn't be hair in my coffee. That's okay. Oh, and then I watched Sinister, and oh, I'm really excited to talk about this movie. This is from the director Scott Derrickson, who directed The Black Phone and The Black Phone 2, which unfortunately I haven't seen yet. I want to see Black Phone 2. Just give me like another week. I gotta catch up on some stuff. Oh, Knives Out 3 comes out in a few weeks. I just remembered literally right now. I gotta watch that. Anyways, this may be the scariest movie I have seen. This may be like the most anxiety inducing, especially just watching this film while all the lights are off in my house at 11 p.m., midnight, and just like playing it and like full volume, not full volume, but like a pretty consistent volume where I could like hear it very well. Just that is real. It just like enhances watching horror movies, and I should probably do that more. I should do that more with my horror movies, but I'm sorry, I can't talk for more than 5 minutes without having to burp and then drink. Um, it's very well made. It's very disturbing. It's not gory. It's not a gory movie. I mean, there's gory parts, but it's not a specifically gory film. It's just very intense and has some very disturbing scenes, and not even like disturbing scenes as in what they show, even though that's definitely the case, but also just what they imply as well. And also the concept of the film too. Like, like the main character played by Ethan Hawke is literally looking at these like film clips of like these very disturbing murders, like murders of families. And that kind of reflects the audience too, because you're also watching this movie. Ironically enough, I was watching it the same way Ethan Hawke was watching it, in like a dark room by myself at midnight, and that kind of like puts you in his shoes, which kind of like elevates the horror. That's pretty smart. That's pretty smart. I'm happy with how they did that. And Ethan Hawke, I've been watching a lot of his films. I'm just realizing this month what a good actor he is. Like just watching him Sinister and then Boyhood, and I'm gonna try. Sorry, that was my alarm to start working out. It's leg day. Who cares? Who cares about leg day? And yeah, he's very good in this, and like his character, and you kind of see his obsession as an author, but also how much he cares about his family. He does a lot with such a simple character, and yeah, yeah. I mean, Scott Derrickson, great directing, especially like the scenes. The actual clips of the murders are very disturbing. So yeah, and a good twist too. I really like the twist of this movie. It caught me off guard, and it was very disturbing and elevated the horror. So I'm gonna put this in A tier. I'm gonna put this above Grave of Fireflies. Both very both very disturbing movies for different reasons. Um, yeah, let me hear myself talk. Okay, yeah, my audio is good. I needed to check that real quick. Um, oh, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, my bad, my bad, my bad. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait, let me check the list again. It's Oh, then I watched House of Dynamite, which is a new Netflix movie directed by the same person who made Zero Dark 30. I think The Hurt Locker. Did she make The Hurt? No, I think that was someone else. Anyways, same director as 30 Dark 30. 30 Dark. You get what I mean. Good director, and I forgot her name. And I mean, she did pretty well. I do think like the handheld camera was a little bit annoying. Like just trying to film this like an Office episode kind of takes away more than it gives to this film. I did find the nature documentary type of editing to be a little bit weird. Like especially the title cards in between the different POVs is very weird and very low budget, like very Netflixy. Um, but those are just nitpicks. And I did find the concept very interesting. It's kind of like the same thing happening, which is a nuclear bomb being dropped on America, or at least the moments leading up to the bomb dropping on America. I'll get to that later, or more specifically, Chicago, and we see like the character's reaction to this. So the first POV is told through the perspective of soldiers. Then the second POV is told through the perspectives of the people who work at the security office. And then I think the third one is told through the perspective of the president of the United States. And they're all interesting POVs. Like, you think this concept would get tiring. And I think for some people, like, the concept would get tiring. Like, you're really just seeing the same event told through three different perspectives. I get if you would be into that. But for me, that was a really cool idea. And they were able to, like, do it very well and keep it interesting. Like show the same event but through different points of views was honestly very interesting. They pulled that off very well. But at the same time, I hated the ending. I think this may be the worst movie ending of the year. Kind of like how Juror Number Two was the worst movie ending of last year. This, like Juror Number Two, just ends when it gets like the most interesting. Like we finally get the a scene where the president decides if he wants to retaliate back, start a world war, and we don't get that. I mean, he's about to make a decision, and then it cuts to black. I hate movies that do that. I hate movies where it's just like up to your imagination which ending it is. Like you make the ending in your head. Whatever decision he makes is your idea or whatever the hell. I don't like that. I don't like that. That is like the most annoying, most pretentious, and I know I said earlier I don't like to use pretentious in my criticisms, but for this time I'll make an exception. This is like the most pretentious type of movie ending, and so many movies do it and think they're smart by doing it. It's just not smart. It's just not smart. It's stupid. It's stupid. It's stupid when you cut to black right before the movie is about to get interesting, or right before you show a big scene, or and we don't even know. And we don't even see Chicago get bombed. We don't know if like the bomb went off. There's like a good chance. They say this in the movie. There's a good chance the bomb diffuses and it doesn't actually blow up Chicago. And you wait the entire movie to see if the bomb blows up, if the bomb actually goes off, if Chicago actually dies, and if this all leads to a third world war or if Russia retaliates. It sets up so many things that you're waiting to see the answer to. Cut to black. I hate that. I this It was a good movie before the ending. I'll be honest, like there was like one moment during the movie where I was just like so invested in what was happening. I was just thinking of giving it a 9 out of 10. But after that like horrible, horrible ending, it's a sits. It's a sits. It's okay. This had a chance to be one of the best movies of the year, like top 10, and now it's not even top 30. It's not even top 30. That is such a stupid ending. Such a stupid. It just ruins the whole movie. And yeah, I'm gonna put this top of C tier, but it really could have been A tier. It could have been A tier, but then it just ended. I hate that. Juror number two, I think, is a little bit more frustrating because I just really loved that movie before the ending, but yeah, this one, um, yeah. Well, I've been meaning to vent out my frustrations about the ending for a while now. After such a stupid movie, I decided to follow it up with a movie that's intentionally stupid, Borat. Um, and I heard a lot of good things about this movie. It's basically this guy who goes to real people, films real people as this like very ridiculous character, and does this very anti these very antisocial things with these real people. It has like a really cool concept about this guy from like a third world country. I forgot the name of and who in a country that's really anti-Semitic and kind of plays into that. Also, Sacha Baron Cohen is Jewish, and just like his ability to not break character while doing these really stupid and funny things is very funny. There were some scenes that really made me laugh, especially that one fight scene that that's just like these two naked guys, these two naked guys just like going at each other. It's just like so stupid and so gross that it's like funny. It's like really really funny, and this may be the funniest movie I've seen this month. Um, well, actually, no. There's one stand-up special that I've laughed at more, and like all comedy movies, I do think it kind of fades out at the end just a little bit. But really, it's a cool concept, and I really enjoy it. And yeah, it made for some very great scenes. So yeah, Borat. I'll go right below John Wick. That seems right. Then what did I watch after Borat? Oh yeah, then I watched Sandy Wetzler, because of course every time I watch a good comedy movie, I gotta watch a bad Adam Sandler movie. I think I saw three Happy Gilmore movies this month. No, four. I watched four bad Happy Gilmore movies this month instead of watching Apocalypse Now. I still haven't seen Apocalypse Now. I haven't seen Full Metal Jacket, but I have seen four Happy Madison Adam Sandler comedies. One doesn't have Adam Sandler. It has David Spade, and yeah, that's why I choose to watch instead on Netflix, because it's on Netflix. It's free. It's cool to put on the background while you do your homework, and that's the only reason why I watch this. And yeah, it actually has like a cool concept. This is actually kind of like Uncut Gems 1.0, or maybe like 0.5, like considering the movie's quality. But it's about like this movie agent who like lies a lot, and like takes shortcuts, and you see it kind of coming back to bite him in the ass at the end, where like all these lies pile up, and it kind of like goes from that to just like a film about this agent who like really misses one of his clients and is in love with one of his clients. And I find that a little bit less interesting. And also, the character himself is really 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 annoying, very annoying. Like his laugh, he has like this laugh where he's like ha 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 ha. That's his laugh. Ha ha. He laughs like that. It's just like the most annoying, egregious, stupid laugh. And they're like self aware of this too. Like there's a scene where like people make fun of his laugh. It's supposed to be like a very annoying laugh. It's never funny. It's never funny. At least like go all in on it. Like give like a really really stupid annoying laugh where it comes up. It's like so intentionally obnoxious and annoying instead of like feeling authentic that it's actually funny. But no, it's just a stupid ha ha. It does this like between every single line. Like every scene he's like ha ha. It's the most repetitive and stupid and dumb joke in the whole movie, and it just like hurts my head. Every time he goes ha ha, I just like lose like a part of my soul. It was just like and the rest of the movie wasn't that good either. It tried. I will give it credit. It does try to have like a good heart in it. Like there's some scenes that try to be emotional. And it tries to like really flesh out this relationship between the agent Sandy and his client who he makes famous. I just found the client and even Sandy himself like very, maybe not Sandy. I found the client a very one-dimensional character, not very fleshed out. I just never really connected with her. She's just not a fully realized character. Whereas Sandy Wetzler, the agent, is a fully realized character. You'll understand him. He's just a terrible character and a very annoying character. So just a movie about the connection between these two characters just doesn't really work when one character is just really annoying and one is just like not fleshed out at all and is very one note. And yeah, that's just kind of what I got out of it. Um, Not that funny, and really poorly directed too. It just has that straight to Netflix original quality to the directing that a lot of these straight to Netflix Happy Gilmore movies have. Um, yeah. If I have to hear someone laugh like ha ha one more time, I'm gonna turn off. I'm gonna break my TV if Adam Sandler ever laughs like that again. It's just such an annoying character. This may be like one of his most annoying characters he's ever played. So no, no, not as bad as a do-over. I will admit, the jokes are like less obnoxious than the do-over. Like, there's no jokes that made me cringe, just no jokes that made me laugh. Obviously the joke where he goes ha ha is just like so stupid that it just like it goes into my brain and just. Uh, hey, Mister. I'm not reading your username. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore you. I'm gonna ignore you. That's just wow. YouTube allows you to to be named that? Christ. I can't remove that. That's gonna be in my chat forever. Look at that. How did you get that username? Nobody else got it before you? That you're the first one to be named this. Nobody else wanted to name their YouTube profile this before you came. Huh. You just ugh. Okay. Uh that took me off guard. Where was it? Okay. Then I watched a Bill Burr comedy special. Which one? I'm sorry you feel that way. This is my first. This is it's okay. That's okay. Yeah, it's not your fault. Well, it is your fault that you name yourself that on YouTube, but I won't blame you for it. Um, I'm sorry you feel that way. It's a black and white Bill Burr special. It's my first Bill Burr special, and like this way more than the Chris Rock special. I mean, I'm not a big Bill Burr guy. I haven't watched him a lot, but I do think I need to get into his stuff a lot more after this one because he's really good. The concepts or like just the stories in his special are much more unique than Chris Rock's outrage. I just thought Chris Rock went too by the numbers. His stories were not unique enough, just kind of lowbrow. Bill Burr's special is anything but lowbrow. Like, it's really like stories he wants to tell or stuff he wants to talk about, which is like interesting. Like, it's just like very unique stand-ups here, and I really enjoyed all of it. He has great comedic timing. Um, I do find like his style, like just his delivery where he's like yelling every line into the microphone. I feel like that could be annoying after a while. And it did kind of get annoying after a while, but not to like a egregious degree. Like he's still like very funny either way. That one helicopter bit is like one of the funniest things I've seen this month. So I'm gonna put this below Borat. No, okay, below Good Time, but I put it above Phantom Thread. I don't know. It doesn't matter which order. It just matters like which tier it's in. Um, now that Adam Sandler laugh is like stuck in my head after I did it myself. I can't get it out. Why did I do that to myself? Oh, then I watched Cubo and the Two Strings. What springs? Nobody clip that. No, Kubo and the Two Springs. I can't. Kubo and the Two Strings. Which is like a stop motion animated film, kind of like a paper mache ish, like a very unique style of animation. Which I saw the trailer. Well, I saw like marketing for this film when I was a kid. I already knew what it looked like, and I don't know why I didn't watch it as a kid, but I kind of wish I did because this was a great movie. Excuse me, great movie, very underrated. A lot of heart to it. You could argue that the plot is a little bit formulaic. Um, but also it took me off guard a little bit. Like there was some twist in here that I didn't expect, or at least I did expect, but it was done in a very interesting way. It's a very unique movie, a very like not a lot of stories or movies like this is very like original per se. Even in the style, just the animation, but also the world they introduced, very unique. And I'm surprised they haven't made a sequel. I guess it bombed anyways. I'm kind of glad they didn't make a sequel because as a standalone movie, it's pretty good. Very not interesting characters, but very heartfelt characters that you could relate to and are very likable. And yeah, great soundtrack too. Good action in the animation. Like there were some like action scenes I really enjoyed. I'm not a big fan of action in animated movies, but between this and Marvel Zombies, I need to see more animated action movies. Like there's some good ones. And yeah, yeah. I mean, this was recommended by my cousin, and now she also recommended Corpse Bride. I probably have to see that too because she has great recommendations here. I'm gonna put this right below okay. Yeah, yeah. Below Grave of Fireflies. A tier. Yeah, yeah. That yeah. A lot of good movies in A tier. Kind of like hard to decipher which ones I should put where. What the hell did I do? Oh, wait. Sorry. How's this? How's this? Not cutting off. Maybe I could shrink it a little. Oh, okay. No, no, no. I put like this, and then yeah, no, no, no. That should. Well, sorry, I messed up the screen here. Um, yeah, no, no, no. Wait, wait, wait. God fits the crop. Why can't? Okay, okay, no, no, no. Now I need to. Sorry. Here. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, keep it there. That's good. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Oh no. Well, okay. Wait. Let me Sorry. uh, Let me change it to my other account real quick on Chrome because now is well, we're halfway through the live stream, and now is the time to show what I've added to my playlist. And I've actually added quite a bit. So let's see. Right here. Yeah, and I want to make this a regular thing where I kind of like go into my music a little bit in between all the movies, kind of like add something unique to this. Because as much as I love movies, I also want to talk about music more. That's what the second channel is for. By the way, I just dropped a reaction to Kendrick Lamar's album Damn on the second channel. If you want to see the second channel, it's called Schofield or Schofield Productions, or you could just go on to my YouTube homepage and go into the description, I think, or one of the links in the description where it says second channel, press that and it should be there. It's still going. Okay. Let's see. I have a lot of here. Uh, uh, let me make it so you could see what I'm seeing. That would probably be good. Oh, there you go. Yeah, yeah, this. No, no, no. Yeah, and then to do this. Yeah. Uh, what I do? No. Okay. Sorry. Okay. What did I add again? Well, first of all, I started re-listening, or I rearranged to like the correct order, and wait, no, it starts here. I'm sorry. Let's go back a little bit. Okay. First of all, maybe this was last month. I must what the I must start. My dad's done. I'm gonna start over here with "OK Computer" by Radiohead. Great album. This was fantastic. This is everything good I've heard about Radiohead all in one album. All the things people praise Radiohead for that honestly I didn't hear in Rainbows or in Rainbows Volume 2. I heard in this. Like I wasn't as big as on In Rainbows as most people are, but like OK Computer is generally such a great album from them. Then I followed that up from by an R. Kelly album. Funnily enough, I know, but one thing I understand about me, especially when it comes to music or movies, is that I'm able to separate the art from the artist a lot more than most people, which is in a concerning degree too. I have a Diddy album here, but yeah, I mean he makes good music. I'll say this. I'll say this. Chocolate Factory is not a bad album. It's actually some of the best R&B I've ever heard in my life. Like this is like top tier R&B, and yeah, I mean, oh, sorry. Um, yeah, I mean, Chocolate Factory and Diddy both make good R&B. It's unfortunate that the best R&B is made by two a-holes. Then I listened to Pablo Honey by Radiohead. Didn't enjoy this as much as OK Computer, but it's still pretty good. I mean, obviously, Creep, one of their best songs of all time. Um, and there's some good tracks here too. I also listened to, I forgot what it's called, this Pink Floyd album with like the triangle and then the rainbow going through it. The one that has Time and Money, Great Gig in the Sky, yeah, all this. Pretty good one, very consistent. Not really any standouts like with Pablo Honey or OK Computer, like nothing that really stuck with me. But as like a body experience, as an album experience with all these songs put together, it's a pretty good album. I'm glad I listened to this. I'm not a big Pink Floyd guy. As far as Pink Floyd goes, it's pretty good. And then I got into listening to fan remixes of Kanye songs. So we got Flashing Lights and True Love and Hey Mama, I Wonder, All the Lights. These are all like Kanye songs, but made by like producers on YouTube. And they kind of like make the songs more emotional or just add more to it, more interesting stuff. And it's actually pretty cool. Even this, even the remix of Cousins. It was honestly, it was on. It's a good song, and they did good. Then, as I said, I added two songs from the Drive soundtrack, and then How Deep, which I think was big on TikTok a couple years ago, but I still enjoy. And then I re-listened to the Death of Slim Shady after getting to Eminem again, and honestly, probably one of the most overhated albums of all time. Maybe also the most loved. I do think there are some Eminem fans or stands that kind of like overrate this album a little bit. But also a lot of people just like completely dog on it, hate on it, give it like a 1 out of 10, which like really this album's pretty good. I really enjoyed it. Like Renaissance is probably his hardest intro, next to My Name Is from Slim Shady LP, but probably his hardest intro in his filmography, minus Slim Shady LP. And then maybe even it may go harder than My Name Is, even though My Name Is like a better song overall. Like as far as intros go, getting you into the feel for the rest of the album. This is pretty cool. And then Habits, which has some like corny elements to it, and that's the thing with like this album that I kind of accepted is that Eminem overall can be kind of corny, and that's just kind of like his style. Like he's very comedic. He's a very comedic rapper, kind of like leans into the comedy, and I feel like the corniness comes from like some self awareness too. Like this corniness is intentional in this album, whereas you could say like Kamikaze or Music to Be Murdered By, it was a little bit less intentional. Um, Although I will say the Houdini music video is kind of terrible and like corny in all the worst ways. But anyways, Habits I still really enjoyed. Trouble is probably one of the best skits on the album. Brand New Dance took some time but really grew on me. A lot of these songs really grew on me, like Evil, All You Got. No, that's a skit. Lucifer, Antichrist. These really grew on me. I finally realized why so many people love Fuel because, like, yeah, it's great rapping. Like, probably some of the best rapping from Eminem, minus Guilty Conscience too, which I'll get to soon. And obviously the Diddy bar where he says, "Wait, he didn't just spell a rapper and leave out the P with leave out the P Diddy." Yeah, that's what he said. Probably one of his like best disses in his career. Like just that is like such cool wordplay. I love that. And yeah, like good wordplay here. Road Rage at Head Honcho and Bad One are honestly some of the weakest tracks. And Toby is a little bit corny, but like Houdini, obviously bop with a terrible music video. I do not like the music video, but the song is a bop. And then Guilty Conscience 2 is probably one of the most underrated songs in his discography. Generally, like my favorite track from this album is just fantastic. Well, I would say favorite track if Temporary did this, which was really good. I really love Temporary. It's just like such an emotional track, and especially if you lost someone close to you, which I did earlier this year. Listening to this track really helps. It's actually a very emotional track once you like know that feeling. Even though he's not really like relating to that feeling himself, he is like doing a good job at kind of like conveying that feeling and just being a good track overall. And obviously, Toby, I think is a little bit overhated, but maybe just as corny as people say it is. And then Somebody Save Me is also another very emotional track to end off the album. I listened to some AGR. I like it. I like the band, but I do think after listening to Thirsty, I realize they're not great bands. But they come out with some good stuff. Harry Styles song, Sign of the Times. Oh, I found out that Good Kid, Mad City, the way I had it in my playlist earlier was out of order. This happens sometimes. I just re-added it in order, and I'm gonna re-listen to it pretty soon. Oh, one of the songs from Kubo and the Ten Strings, First Glimmer. Um, this is a Guy Gerber album, which unfortunately was done in collaboration with Diddy, but I'm mostly there for Guy Gardner. And it's a decent album. I still need to listen to the rest of it. I added some tracks from The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou, and this one's also from the movie, and generally like one of the best needle drops of any Wes Anderson movie. That's very emotional. And did I add The Life Aquatic? Because I definitely saw The Life Aquatic this month, right? Wait, why did I watch The Life Aquatic? It was recent. It was recently. It was The Life Aquatic was Steve Zissou. Oh, it wasn't this month. It was the end of last month. Okay. Oh no, but I just added it like a few weeks ago. Now I remember. Yeah. Anyways, ready or not, here I come. You can't hide. Far, far away. Yeah, it's such a great needle drop in one battle after another. So of course I added it. I added that Minecraft song because why not? Body for Body by Kendrick Lamar, which I hope gets released. One of these days he has to release a song. For the love of God, please just release the song, Kendrick. And then I listened to well, first of all, I listened to some unreleased Kanye songs because I heard he has some very good unreleased songs and like Heartbreaker, Home, Deja Vu, Can You Be, the original Yandi, which I have to listen to in full. Mama's Boyfriend, like just like great tracks that's never been released by him. I just don't understand why they haven't been released. Like Kendrick too. Kendrick has some really good unreleased tracks. My Way, Honest. Honestly, I'm not a big Travis Scott guy, but he was pretty good in this. Vibes, Apologize, Everybody, which obviously cannot be released due to licensing, but still pretty cool. And then, my guys, to stick on the Kanye. By the way, Kanye comes out with a new album this tonight. Tell me if you're gonna watch it or listen to it. But I finally re-listened to the College Dropout. I finally understand. I finally see what people see in it. It's a good album. It's a very good album. It finally connects in my head what makes it such a good album. I finally see why people love this album. I used to think it was too skit focused. I thought like the tracks themselves weren't as good. New Workout Plan is like easily the weakest Kanye song I listened to at the time. And after listening to Vultures 1 and Donda 2, I have to disagree with that, obviously. But yeah, after re-listening to it, the skits kind of made more sense to me. And also, I could always just like I skipped the skits. I did not add the skits or most of them to here. And the singles, yeah, I realize how good it is. Like obviously, We Don't Care and All Falls Down. Also, Spaceship. Jesus Walks. Jesus Walks is like the best track in this album. That and Slow Jams. And honestly, I'm not a big fan of the new workout plan, but like Get Them High, Never Let Me Down, School Spirit, and Through the Wire, Family Business, Last Call. Good, 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 good tracks. And I did not appreciate this album first time I listened to it, or the second, or the third. But like everything, or like most things, it grows on me over time. And then I listened to the unreleased fourth album, and or at least a concept album of Kanye's unreleased fourth album, Good Ass Job, and it's pretty good. It's pretty good. Obviously, I'm glad he didn't release this because obviously, like no parties in LA and Power, that would obviously disrupt like Runaway. And this really is like an old version of Runaway. Obviously not Runaway at all, but like what Runaway was supposed to be thematically, and has some of the songs from there, like sorry, my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. I keep saying Runaway. Runaway is one of the songs here. Also Power, and I think another song that's supposed to be in my beautiful dark twisted fantasy. And obviously, before it's in LA, which would disrupt the making of In the Life of Pablo, which is one of my favorite Kanye songs. But also, there's some tracks in here that were not released ever, which is kind of surprising because they're really good. Heartbreaker, Flashing Lights 2, Mama's Boyfriend, like just really good tracks. And also the version of Power, that the Power epilogue, I thought was pretty good. Um so yeah, and Never See Me should have been the end of his career. Either that or Saint Pablo. Or if you want, just like add Donda at the end and then just like stop his career. No Vultures 2, no Donda 2, just a perfect discography from College Dropout to Donda, or at the very least from late College Dropout to The Life of Pablo. There, 8 perfect albums, and then you release this as a single, Never See Me. This was supposed to be his last album. This was supposed to be his last album before he kept going, and he didn't do it. And Never See Me is just such a cool song to like end off with, just like a very heartwarming, bittersweet song to end what would have been a perfect career. But then he kept going, and then he lost his mind, and now, yeah. You can only look at the old ones. Oh, and then I listened to Thriller for Michael Jackson. The day of Halloween, by the way, I was picking songs for the playlist. I was gonna be playing at my party, Halloween party, and I just decided to add this. And it's a perfect album. It's great, and I need to listen to more Michael Jackson. I haven't listened to a lot of Michael Jackson, and Thriller definitely is a good one. And Ultrasounds, also featuring Travis Scott, pretty good unreleased song, and then again a fan edit of Deja Vu. If you couldn't tell, I'm a Kanye fan, just not the person. And let's add this and go back to the tier list. Actually, I need to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Um, put this text on the screen. Don't go away. I'll be right back, and the live stream will be over in 30 minutes. I just need to talk about these last few films. But yeah, give me a few minutes. We'll be gone for long. Check the Florida. Hey, I'm back. Okay, where was I? Only I had this. Oh yeah, we were talking about movies I saw in October. Let's see. Okay, after Kubo and the Ten Strings, I rewatched one battle after another in the theater. I was I want to catch it one more time before I left, and of course, it's my favorite movie of the year. It's one of my favorite movies of the last 5 years or even 10 years. It's fantastic. It's really good. It's just like such a perfectly crafted and directed and acted movie with such a cool premise and concept and a very modern plot and ideas and just very interesting like about revolutionaries in modern day and I yeah just like a very great contemporary movie um and also very helpful at the end, which is very interesting. Yeah, not much more to say about it. Sean Penn is fantastic. Leonardo DiCaprio is fantastic. Um, that one girl in the movie who plays his daughter, Chase Affinity, is fantastic and definitely has a strong career ahead of her. Yeah, perfectly crafted film. Paul Thomas Anderson better win that award. Him or Ryan Coogler or even Guillermo del Toro because I'm always rooting for Guillermo del Toro. I hope he wins an Oscar one of these days. Did he already? I think Guillermo del Toro won an Oscar already. Um. Uh, wow. Okay. Nobody heard that. What was that threw me so off guard. Trick or Treat. Then, to get me into the Halloween season, I watched Trick or Treat, which is not here. I forgot to add Trick or Treat. Damn. I thought I had everything. I was about to say, okay, wow, this live stream is going pretty well, all things considered. No, no. I forgot Trick or Treat. I forgot to add it to my playlist. And I definitely cannot add it right now, because if I add something to a tier list while doing it, it'll reset, because Tier Maker is a really stupid website. Anyways, Trick or Treat would go, it'll go C tier or no, sorry, no, B tier, top of B tier, bottom of B tier. I think it will go above the bucket list, but below Phantom Thread. It's a very entertaining movie. It gets you into a Halloween vibe. That's the main reason you should watch Trick or Treat. It just has such a Halloween October vibe to it. Like you watch it and you're really excited for the season, even if you weren't earlier. And yeah, it's good in that way. And yeah, like obviously it's not a great movie. I don't think there's anything that blew my mind about it, acting wise or directing wise. But script wise, like just being able to like make this such a cool anthology film that like subverts your expectations a couple times. Like there were some plot twists I weren't expecting. Also, just like cool stories in between, and the way the stories kind of connect at the end is really cool. Yeah, and especially like the last one with the pumpkin head that I forgot the name of. It's a pretty cool segment of the movie. So as far as horror anthologies go, this may be the best. Um, no, not the best, but one of the best. That I've seen recently and I can think of. So yeah, unfortunately, I forgot to add it because I'm an idiot. I'm sorry for that. I watched the week of, which is another Adam Sandler, Happy Gilmore movie. This time with Chris Rock. I hate myself. I hate myself. I don't find these movies that funny. But I'm say screw it. Okay, I need something to watch in the background while I do my homework. So watching good film. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna watch this. And to be fair, it actually looked pretty good. I was interested in it. Had a good cast. Steve Buscemi plays a big part of it. I'm always rooting for Steve Buscemi. He's a great actor. I wish he was in better stuff. I wish he wasn't just in Happy Gilmore movies. That seems to be the case recently. Um, I will say though, as far as Happy Gilmore movies, this actually does have a lot of heart to it, and not in the way of Stanley Webster, where it attempts to have a heart. Like this one actually has a heart to it. Like the characters are actually very endearing and non likable. There's no annoying characters in this because basically the actors are playing themselves. You know, there's not like any like interesting, unique characters here. It's just like a very relaxed, fun time. Uh, not as lowbrow of humor as you expect from most Happy Madison movies, but also just not that funny either. Mostly amusing. But yeah, what really it sells is it's about this wedding between these two characters and the two families coming together and living under the same household and you know it's just like really cool in that way because you know it has a lot of heart to it. It definitely because you know that Adam Sandler makes movies with his own daughters. He has a family of his own that he really cares for and makes movies about. So you could kind of see like the sincerity of this one. Chris Rock too, and yeah, it got kind of emotional at the end. I won't say it's a good movie. I wouldn't say it's a very funny movie. There may have been a couple jokes that made me laugh. There may have been a couple recurring jokes I thought were interesting, but that's about it. I'd still say this is a bad movie, but definitely I liked it better than Midsummer, which yeah, I like a Happy Gilmore movie better than Midsummer. Bite me. Then I watched Deadpool No Good Deed, which is just a short of Deadpool trying to save a old man and failing to do so, and it's basically just like a parody of Superman where he tries to go into a telephone booth and change into his costume, but it takes a while, and by the time he gets out, the person who's trying to save is already dead. It's funny a little bit, you know. I mostly found it amusing, nothing that really made me laugh. It made me smile, and that's what I really want from Deadpool. Not something like incredibly funny because I don't find Deadpool like laugh out loud funny as most people do. But I do enjoy it, and it was okay. I'll put it a little bit. I'll put it below Chiefs, but above Machete, which doesn't seem right. But I did give it a 6 out of 10 on Letterboxd, and that's how I'm going with this. Um, Oh, and then I watched Father of the Year, and this is the worst movie I've seen this year. One of the worst movies I've ever seen. With wait, where- oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I got these two mixed up because they have such boring posters, such generic posters. The Week of is top of D tier. Father of the Year is bottom of D tier. This one stars David Spade as, even though I root for David Spade and think he's not that bad of an actor, he's pretty bad in this one. He's not funny. And this is just like such an annoying movie. I can't even tell what the plot is. It's just like these. It's these two. It's this guy who's like into this girl. He's like a teenager, and he has this like very this deadbeat dad who like cares, but is very he is not a good dad. And he's friends with this other guy who has like a dad who's a family man, and David Spade, who's a deadbeat dad, wants to fight this other guy who's a good dad, and they fight, and well, actually, they fake fight, and then they fight for real at the end of the movie. And well, okay, one of the sons wants to join the military and is trying to find out who he's gonna be. The other wants to have this big job, but at the end decides not to because the boss disrespected his father or whatever. And then he's also trying to get with this girl who I don't care about, and I think they try shrooms because of course that's like the scene of every bad comedy where like two characters try shrooms for the first time and they get high, and that's just like that's every comedy movie now. And uh what else? It's very stupid. There's a scene where like David Spade, well, he goes into like this research center where he puts like gel into his nipples to create boobs. David Spade has boobs in this movie. This is the second Happy Gilmore movie that has like an emphasis on boobs. It's weird. It's very weird. And this time it's even weirder because it's a grown ass man getting them through like gel that like creases them, and they make like weird jokes about it with his son that were uncomfortable. And none of this movie's funny, and it has like such a obnoxious soundtrack. And none of the actors are not to disrespect. I never want to disrespect like up and coming actors, but I don't think anybody really did a good job in this one. Um, Even David Spade, who's like a very much more successful actor, didn't do a good job. And to be fair, the script is terrible. There's nothing that even made me amused. I was not amused by this movie. You did not amuse me. It was just unfunny all around. At best, just like existing. At worst, just straight up terrible. There's a scene where they go into VR, and the entire joke is that the father doesn't like know VR from real life, even though the VR is really bad, and doesn't take a person with two brains to realize that. So even like the jokes don't make that much sense logically. This was like such a terrible movie, and I watched it till the end because I guess I hate myself. I don't know. This is like the worst comedy I think I've ever seen. I I can't think of it. At least Deuce Bigelow had like a coherent plot. I never understood the plot for this movie or what they were going for. It's kind of like a Disney Channel reunion film for characters that you've never seen before or didn't have a show beforehand, and characters who are not that good, with script writers who are not that funny, and there's no like style to this directing wise or writing wise. There's like no unique style. Again, it's just like a Netflix film where it's just like very simple directing. The timing is off for most of the jokes, and it's just again obnoxious soundtrack. A lot of the jokes don't make sense. This is the worst comedy I have seen in my life, and that's saying something. And yeah, this was I gotta stop watching Happy Gilmore movies on Netflix while I do my homework. This is bad. It's ruining my sense of humor. You know, not that I had any to begin with, but after that, after that, I had to follow that up with something good. I had to laugh. I had to laugh once in my life. I had to find something that would make me laugh. So I did the unthinkable and turned to John Mulaney, which is actually not the unthinkable because John Mulaney is one of the best modern comedians working today. And Kid Gorgeous in was it Kid Gorgeous at Radio City is one of the best stand-up specials I've seen. Next to Baby J, which is also a good stand-up special from John Mulaney. And this one I'm gonna put above Sinister. This Okay, listen. Anything would be funny to me after watching such a bad film like Father of the Year. Like you could just like film yourself pooping in the toilet, and I find that funny after like such an unfunny film. Especially when it's John Mulaney, and he just has like such a cool way of like just such an interesting way of delivering jokes, and he's such a good storyteller too. Like his jokes aren't just like everything is so woke now, or just like the most lowbrow humor. Like he's actually good storyteller with like very unique punchlines. He's one of the most unique comedians working today. And he's really good. And there's this one analogy he makes about like elephants in a hospital that was kind of like referring to the politics of the time. And even though I think Trump and obviously a lot of people are going to do that because he's the president, and it's just like normal formality and make fun of the president. I do feel like Trump comedies, especially like SNL, is kind of overdone. They're able to do it very. John Mulaney is able to do it in like such a unique way. The way John Mulaney makes fun of Trump with the analogy of what is it elephant in a hospital is just really funny, and he's able to like build on that joke so much. And again, just his delivery, I really love this special. It's like an amazing special. Hey, Math Wisher. I did not say that right. How you doing, man? Are you Anthony from my school? I think your PFB looks familiar. If you're not, I'm sorry. Um, what else? After the John Mulaney special, I watched The Dead Don't Die, and of course. Every time I watch a good comedy, I have to follow it up with a bad one. Just like it's like back and forth. Like I watch Sandy Wetzler, then I follow that up with a Bill Burr special, then I watch Father of the Year, and the week of I follow that up with John Mulaney, and of course right after John Mulaney, I have to watch The Dead Don't Die, and this is like the most boring comedy and just zombie film in general. I don't see the point of it. It's one of those films where like everyone dies at the end. It's not like the zombie stuff is like that interesting. Oh, you are. Hey Anthony, how you doing? Nice to see you here. I've been now sent to college, but it has been good. How's college life, man? I'm gonna decide on one myself in like a few months. Can't wait. Yeah, nice to see you again. Anyways, Dead Don't Die. The comedy, not that funny. It's kind of like trying to be Wes Anderson in a way, where it's like very deadpan, but not in a clever way, just kind of like in a lazy way. There's just this one song that they keep reusing over and over again. That's just like so repetitive. Again, every character dies in this movie, and they introduce so many characters. There's like 50 side characters in this. They're not interesting. They don't have like any personality. It's only what's his name? A big actor is in this. Austin Butler is in this. Selena Gomez is in this. They're in this, and then they die, and then they're never brought up again. You have like a few scenes setting them up, a few scenes of them talking to other characters, and then we cut to them and they die in the most underwhelming way possible. The zombie deaths are not that interesting. It's not that gory, it's not practical. It's just like CGI most of the time, where the zombie deaths are just like very generic, and the way zombies die is just like this dust. It's the actual horror to it. It's not that scary. It's not even trying to be scary, but it's also not trying to be funny. Or if it is trying to be funny, it's in a very weird way. The characters are not that endearing. I did like Bill Murray and what's his name? Bill Murray and Adam Driver as these two police officers. I do think the deadpan humor kind of worked for their personalities, but again, not funny. Um, just seems like such a pointless movie where you spend like more than half of it like setting up these characters, and then the zombie apocalypse like immediately happens, and you expect like all these subplots to like kind of combine, or you see how these characters deal with the zombie apocalypse. But no, you just like have the zombie apocalypse, then you cut back to them and you see them dead. And yeah, I don't know. This just seemed like such a pointless movie and such a boring movie too. This is like so slow, and not in a way where like the plot moves slow. Like it's a 2 hour film, lost not even 2 hour film. It's less than 2 hours. A lot of stuff happens, but the scenes themselves are like so slow. Like just say cut, cut the scene. Why is it going so slow? It's not like what's shown on the camera is that interesting. It's just like keeps going. It keeps same thing with Midsummer, where like the camera just slowly pans through the floor. I just don't find that interesting. It's just okay. I'm losing myself here. Anyways, the dead don't. Okay. Thank God. I thought I forgot to add it like Trick or Treat. Dead don't die. I'm gonna put below the Chris Rock outrage special. Just like characters dying, and also some weird editing choices too that I won't get into. Um, yeah. What do I watch after this? Oh, okay. Same vein as comedies. I went from one really bad horror film, or at least I guess you can kind of call a horror film, to a really good horror film. I watched Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein, and if you don't know, big Guillermo del Toro fan. I really like no, I really like Pinocchio. Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio is really good. I really like how he adapted the story. Like Guillermo del Toro is so good at adapting classic stories, whereas he keeps what's good about the original, but kind of twists it in his own way and adds in themes and characters and motivations for the characters that are very interesting and add to the story instead of detract. Like if there's one guy who deserves to reboot any movie, like remake any movie he wants to, it's Guillermo del Toro because he knows how to do it. And he does the same with Frankenstein. I have not read Mary Shelley's book. Although I heard this isn't that faithful to the book, like plot wise. But like comparing this to like the original Frankenstein from 1930, it just like adds so many layers to the characters. Like it really goes into Victor Frankenstein's backstory and why he's creating Frankenstein, why he wants to create Frankenstein, why he's so obsessed with like stopping death. And you kind of go into the backstory, and you kind of feel sympathetic for him. Before they turn Victor, they kind of twist his character around to being an asshole halfway through, and in a very nuanced and expected way. And then you kind of follow the monster's point of view, and the monster is given more layers, and you kind of see his backstory. And that one scene from Bride of Frankenstein where Frankenstein talks to the blind man, and the blind man doesn't see him as a monster, so they become friends, and Frankenstein makes his first friend. They really explore that. They add to it. They really go into all these plot points very well. And yeah, just really good all around. Like this was a fantastic movie. Even like directing wise too. Like of course Guillermo del Toro just visually is a great director. This movie looks beautiful, even for having a lot of green screen. Like there's also a lot of real sets to even it out, and the CGI is also really good. Like say what you will about Netflix, but they did put this movie out in IMAX for 2 weeks, which I was able to watch it in, and they do like dump a lot of money into their movies. Like they'll like dump hundreds of millions of dollars, and you see that on screen. So yeah, this right below One Battle After Another. This is my second favorite film of the year, and I like this even more than Sinners. So yeah, yeah, just great film, great film. Christoph Waltz is in it too. Christoph Waltz hasn't been in a lot of stuff. It's good to see him in another film, and he's doing a good job. He's basically He's basically being his usual self as like not Hans Landa, kind of like King Schultz. Just the way he talks or delivers his lines is very King Schultz like, just Christoph Waltz like. It's just cool to see him again. And he plays like a very interesting character. He doesn't have a lot of screen time, but I do like his addition. So then I watched Saw, which I was surprised by. Obviously, Saw is known as like the big body horror movie, like the big torture porn. Like as far as the phrase torture porn goes, like Saw is like the big one next to Hostel and Human Centipede and Terrifier, and honestly, watching this movie, I came in with that expectation, but it wasn't really a torture porn movie. It was more of like a mystery movie. And I really like that. The mystery is very good here. There's like a plot twist, or just there's like a few plot twists in this movies that are really good, and it just kind of like puts you right into the middle of the action, like gets you invested in the first 5 minutes with these two guys waking up in a dirty bathroom and they're trying to figure out how they got there. And it kind of starts like an escape room type of movie. Just completely like invests you in the plot right away. And it just keeps you invested until the end. Like they keep adding so many layers and the plot unravels in such an uninteresting such an interesting way. Um and it's also a cool concept, like just characters who have to do bad things or do like gross things to survive or are taken captive and they get to decide if they live or not by like taking out an eyeball or something. That's the second movie. I still need to finish the second movie. But yeah, just a cool concept and a great plot too, and a great mystery, and such a captivating film too. And for a torture porn movie, for a film that's like so famous for being violent, and a movie so famous for just being like this very gross movie that like disturb people who watch it, it's not that gross. It's honestly not. Obviously, there's some disturbing scenes, but it's also a very low budget film, so we don't get like any like really gory scenes. You kind of see the leg being sawed off, which is obviously advertised in the poster, but you don't see it as much as I expected it to. Like The Walking Dead did the sawing off the leg a lot gorier than this movie. So sorry. Yeah, not really that much torture pornish. Like if you're like sensitive to gore, you can actually watch this movie. It's not that violent. It's such a captivating script, and of course, it's one of those films where I knew the plot twist. I knew one of the plot twists, like the main plot twist going in. Obviously, you know who the killer is, who's the big bad. Like he's a horror icon with a great performance from a guy. I'll keep it vague in case you haven't seen it. You know it going in, but it's just the way they reveal the plot twist at the end, where you just see him lift up in the background without going into specifics. You just see it happening in the background. It just happens in such a natural but surprising way where it's right after another plot twist too. So you're already just like realizing in your head, trying to figure out in your head what's happening. You just got hit with a big revelation, and then you get hit by a bigger revelation like right after. And just the way they reveal it, just like one of the best plot twists in horror movie history. This may actually be a better executed plot twist than Psycho. I like the plot twist better in Saw than Psycho. It's just such a beautiful the way they just like write it. Obviously, I want to say it's fantastic. Okay, I know I'm like praising it a lot, but like the directing is very 2000s and very how do I say this very seizure like 2000s metalhead music video, like where like the camera like flashes a lot and zooms and like turns and like what do you call it, and it's sped up, and it is a little bit annoying. It's not the greatest directing for a film like this, But to be fair, I never got bored watching this movie. This was never a boring movie to me. So I guess the editing did its job and the directing did its job, even if it's not great to me. Also, Danny Glover dying in the first movie in this franchise does seem like a waste of potential, but it does fit if you're just watching this movie and not the sequels, which honestly I would recommend because I heard the sequels aren't as good as the first one. But yeah, yeah, Saw was like such a better movie than I expected. Like seriously, if you have not seen Saw before, it's not that violent. Really go. It's not for like torture porn, like as it's like described as people describe this film. It's not as violent as you expect. It really isn't, and it's just also just like a lot more clever than I expect. So I'm gonna put this ab- I'm gonna put this above Sinister, right below John Mulaney because I really like that stand-up special, but like really good. I really enjoy this movie a lot more than I expected. In the same vein as Drive, yeah, and kind of underrated in that sense. Then I watched John Wick Chapter Two, which used to be my least favorite John Wick movie, but after rewatching it, I would say it's the first film because even though I do think the plot is less captivating than the first film and the stakes feel less personal, it is better action. Like the action in John Wick 2, and also just the way it's shot and lit. Obviously, these are very good-looking movies, but especially in the second film and every film that is released after this one just looks beautiful. It's beautiful cinematography and directing, and obviously great action. One of the best action movie franchises ever made. And I actually grew. I grew on the villain a little bit. Like I used to think this was like the least interesting villain in all the John Wick movies. But to be fair, like you don't really go into these movies for the villains. You go into it for the action. And he's okay. He's a good actor. So yeah, I enjoy this more than I expect or remembered. I'm gonna put this right above the first film, like right next to each other. Actually, look at that. Um, and we're almost done. And also, if you made it this far into a live stream, consider subscribing. Your choice. Your choice. Um, then I watched Captain America: The First Avenger. Again, I'm gonna elaborate on these films in my MCU video when that comes out. But Captain America: First Avenger is a decent film, just as good as I remember it, to be honest. Some scenes or some parts of the film feel a little bit outdated and hasn't aged the best, but at the same time, it's also like one of the most fun films from Phase One, especially like compared to Iron Man 2 and the Incredible Hulk and Thor. Like this is like above those movies. This is like the better half of Phase One of the MCU. Captain America, Steve Rogers is like one of the most likable characters. Just in this one movie, you like learn about him, and it just like feels like such a fully realized character in just his first film. I really like the origin story here. I think it kind of like competes with Iron Man as being like the best origin story in the MCU. Just a very endearing character who wants to like become a soldier and just like seeing that transformation and him like really work for it before getting the serum. And also like Red Hulk is not my favorite villain. I do think he's one of the least interesting parts of the film, but he's fun. Yeah, like the way Hugo Weaving, who's like a great actor, plays him, just like very like comedic. It just feels like such a comic book villain type of villain, if you get what I mean. Such a campy villain that really fits the tone of this movie. And that's another thing. This is a very campy movie. This is from the director of The Rocketeer. I think his name is Joe Johnson. And Joe Johnson is just it's like he was made in a lab to make superhero movies. Just his style really works for a comic book movie, especially in this vein. And obviously, I really like the setting, the 1940s, the music. Definitely one of the better MCU films from Phase One. Sorry, and also better than most of the films from Phase Four. I will say that. With that said, though, I do think there's some weird editing choices. Like there's this one big action scene in the middle where it kind of is okay. I'll spoil it a little bit. It's a scene where like Steve Rogers or Captain America, he's about to like jump off a bridge into another bridge. They set it up. He goes back and then he finally makes a jump in this bad CGI explosion. He's jumping over the bridge, and then it cuts away from that. I don't know why you would end the action scene right there as it's getting the most interesting. It kind of plays it like, oh, did Captain America survive? Did he survive that scene? Of course, it's the halfway mark of the movie. Captain America's not going to die, especially when the Avengers is coming out next year. So, it just seems like such a weird scene where it kind of cuts away from that. and also some other weird editing choices and bad CGI. Like again, it was made in 2011, so which 2011 had some good CGI. Obviously Pirates of the Caribbean, but yeah, the CGI wasn't great. And yeah, I liked it. It was decent. I'll put it in I'll put it above the bucket list. Even though the bucket list may be more sincere and heartfelt, I did find this film a lot more fun. Got to make those cliffhangers always exactly. And such a pointless cliffhanger too, because you wouldn't expect the main character to die halfway through, unless it's like Psycho or something. Um, and then I watched the Avengers. This is the last film I watched in October. I think October 30th. No, oh no, October 28th. So there was like 3 days straight where I didn't watch any movies. That's interesting. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I think a lot of people underestimate how hard a movie like this is. I mean, of course, nowadays you get like a bunch of cliffhanger, no, sorry, crossover movies where you take like characters from different films and you put them together. Even before this, like Freddy versus Jason, Alien versus Predator. But this is like it was really never done before like this, especially in comic book movie form. I just like taking all these like different characters like Captain America and Iron Man and Thor and this god and this billionaire and playing them all together in this one movie and being able to do it without making it feel campy or stupid. That's pretty impressive. And being able to do it with like not being an inconsistent tone either. Like the tone of this movie goes by very well. They're just like such unique and different characters, but they mesh well together. And the banter between them is pretty good. That's another thing I've been meaning to say. Like as much as I don't like MCU humor, and even though I think the comedy can be redundant at times, it's not my type of comedy, I do think it works really well for the Avengers. I think for the most part, that's because of like just how different these characters are and seeing them interact. Like, of course, like a god like Thor, who's like 1,000 years old and hasn't been to Earth that long, and a cocky billionaire would have like good conversations and good banter between each other. Most of the comedy comes from just like the characters talking to each other instead of being like quips or self-referential humor like most modern Marvel movies. It's pretty funny. It's a pretty funny film overall. I wouldn't say it's like amazingly funny, but there were actually some jokes that made me laugh. And it's an interesting team too. Obviously, I said this like a million times. Just putting these characters together is interesting, but also the characters themselves. Like Thor is a guy who hasn't been to Earth that long, and obviously is connected to the villain and Loki. And Loki is also a great villain. He's very entertaining in this. And then you have Captain America who hasn't been in this like time period that long, who spent most of his life in the 1940s as adjusting to modern times and you kind of have those interesting characters here that the film focuses on and does pretty well. And Bruce Banner too. That scene where he says how he tried to shoot himself, but the Hulk wouldn't let him kill himself. That was a pretty interesting scene. It really adds a lot to the character, a lot more development for his character than in his own movie. Um, so yeah, the action is nothing special, and again, some of the CGI hasn't aged well, but it's pretty good. It's very entertaining and very rewatchable too, and better than I remember. I remember this being one of my not as a little bit overrated, but after watching it, I did enjoy this quite a bit. I'll put below board. I'll put below Good Time. I really like Good Time, but above the Bill Burr special, right in the middle B tier. And there's my playlist. I feel like jokes in general are a hit or miss. Yeah, especially I do think like with like recent Marvel movies, it's mostly been misses, except for Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four was actually pretty funny, but like Thunderbolts, Captain America, and most of Deadpool 3 too. Like I found Deadpool 3 amusing with some good jokes, but I also didn't find it that funny. I just feel like it's just like the type of humor that Marvel movies have just don't really work for me that much. But then I've recently rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy and this film and I realize there is some funny jokes for Marvel. So maybe it's not the type of jokes. Maybe it's not like this style of humor. Maybe it's just that the writing was better here like back then and they were just funnier back then. I don't know. But yeah, you do have a point there. It's more miss than hit nowadays. But it was pretty good here. So yeah, okay, that's my tier list. um, a lot in D tier and a lot in C tier. I also watched. Well, I watched two really great movies for the first time. I rewatched my favorite film of the year. I watched Kubo and Ten Strings, and two really good horror movies. That one that I think is very underrated, and one, well, not underrated, but like underappreciated writing wise, and one that is very disturbing. Maybe one of the scariest films I've seen. Great stand up special. I rewatched two of the John Wick movies. I watched Borat, which is a comedy classic to many people. Um, of a film from one of the two of the Safdie brothers. Sorry, and I rewatched some Marvel movies. I watched a Paul Thomas Anderson movie. I watched Marvel Zombies and Good Boy that came out this month, and House of Dynamite, and then a bunch of bad Happy Madison movies, and I wasn't that into Midsummer. And again, I did not watch Tron this year. I do not know why I added this, and I cannot put it back in. Okay, well in that case, I'll just put Tron like top of C tier, I guess. Yeah, okay, that was my tier list. I've been talking for 2 hours straight. That's wow. Okay. Well, same time next month. Hopefully, I'll not wait 7 days or like a whole 7 days, a whole week to do it. Hopefully, I'm able to do it like at the end of the month, like exactly like I've been able to do in the previous months. But sometimes life gets in the way. You guys understand. The MCU video will come out. I'm gonna try to get it. I'm gonna try to get it out December 19. Yeah, yeah. Because December 19 is when the trailer for Avengers Doomsday comes out, so the algorithm will really like it if I like upload an MCU video while Avengers trailer comes out. I'll try to get it out by then, but it's also like a lot of movies. Right now I'm on Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm halfway through phase 2. There's 5 phases, and phase 6 is coming up, so it's a lot, but I'll try to get it done. Thanks, Anthony, and thanks for joining by, man. Nice to see you here. And I hope college is going good for you. I hope you do a good job there, and good luck with college, man. Really. Um, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks for watching. Thanks for dropping by. It made this far. Be sure to like the live stream. That really helps me out with the algorithm. And yeah, same time next month. See you there. Adios. You're very welcome. It was nice to see you.